Eid, and that is the time that you offer it. So that's the time frame, that's how you offer it, and it has precedent from the actions of the companions, radiallahu ta'ala anhum, that is Anas ibn Malik, radiallahu anhu, and essentially prepare yourself as you normally would for the day of Eid. Remembering to say lots of takbirat on the night of Eid. So Saturday night after Salat al-Maghrib, that you saying Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd, and like this, okay? Likewise in the morning, you make lots of takbir, praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then you prepare yourselves to offer Salat al-Eid. However many people at home. Let's say, for example, there's only a husband and wife, okay? The husband, he stands at the front and his wife just behind, okay? If there are two men and like a mother and a father and one child, a son, for example, then the son will pray next to his father, as you pray normal Salatul Jama'ah, and then the mum would pray behind. If there are a mother and a father and a daughter, then it's the father at the front and then the mother and daughter praying just behind. If there are more in number, then likewise with the regulations with Salatul Jama'ah, then the one who's leading the prayer will be at the front, and then if there's two or more men, then they form that line, and then the females behind that. Okay. So this is the formation of the rows in your home. And I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to benefit from another night of Ramadan, which is tonight, alhamdulillah, 30 days. It is a beautiful time for us all, alhamdulillah. And after we complete the day, we make lots of dhikr, praising Allah Jalla wa ala for the many blessings He has given us, asking Allah Jalla wa ala for acceptance. And then you celebrated the Eid in the very best possible way, in a way that is pleasing to Allah Jalla wa ala. Wallahu ta'ala alam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much for your reminder. We're going to go now to our first caller of the show. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum assalam. Jazakumullah khair. I'm calling from London. My name is Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum, brother Muhammad. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair, I'm well. And your question?
Yeah, my question is related to a previous question that I've asked the Shaykh. It was the funds that I've raised for Yemen, and it was a situation where there was a zakat included, but alhamdulillah, I clarified that now. So the funds is not being released from the GoFund company, so they're just making some security checks and all of that. My only fear is because Sunday is going to be Eid, so I don't think that I'm going to get the funds before the Eid, and there's some zakat included. And I know in Islamic perspective we have to pay the zakat before we come back before we go the Eid prayer, I guess, yeah. So what's going to happen if I get the funds after the Eid prayer?
Okay, so this is Zakat al-Fitr you're talking about, Fitrana, right?
Yeah.
Zakat al-Mal. Right.
No, Zakat al-Fitr. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. So the question is clear. The brother has accepted some funds for Zakat al-Fitr to be paid. As it stands at the moment, he's unable to access those funds for whatever reasons are given. And that may lead to a delay in releasing those funds to purchase the food that is for the people of where you're going to give it to, namely here is in Yemen. So what I would do is that I would contact the people who donated the Zakat al-Fitr and let it be known to them that unfortunately, and this is circumstances beyond your control, that the Zakat al-Fitr will not be able to reach the individuals before that date. So it might be best for them to then find an alternative to ensure that the Zakat al-Fitr, because once a person hands over the Zakat or Zakat al-Fitr to somebody else, then the view is that they will fulfill the requirements of distributing that wealth or the food. If that can't be done, then the onus is to be made to that individual that this can't be fulfilled, I can't do it. So therefore you need to make other arrangements to make sure it's done properly, inshallah ta'ala, and in its time. So with regards to Zakat al-Fitr, contact those who you can contact and allow them to be known of the situation so that they can arrange the Zakat al-Fitr to be done in a timely manner. And that can be done now, by the way. Okay, well, a couple of days before, or a day or so, just before Salat al-Eid, or the day of Eid. So you can make that payment now. And that can be done with online charities and they can arrange that for you, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much for your answer and your question, brother. For everyone watching at home, we're going to be here up until 7 p.m. inshallah live with you. So if you have any questions, give us a call on 0203 515 0769. Otherwise, you can send your WhatsApp questions to 074 2239 8833. For everyone else watching online, either on YouTube or Facebook, you can leave your questions at the comment section, inshallah. So Shaykh, we're at the end of Ramadan now.
Yeah.
And if someone is feeling at the moment a bit disappointed with themselves, that didn't make the most of it, Ramadan comes once a year. We don't know if we're going to make it to the next Ramadan. What's the best course of action moving forward now, Shaykh?
So, with any perceived or understood negative that happens to you, okay, you mustn't allow that then a negative to turn into another negative, okay? And I don't mean to be kind of all philosophical now and all, with a logical approach. I want something, more of a dini approach. But what I would say is that there are at times when there is something negative in our lives. But then that mustn't lead on to another negative. The person then falls into a state of despair. The person loses hope. If I can't do it in Ramadan. And the shaitan will try his best to push you in the place where you feel hopeless and you're in a state of despair. If you can't do it in Ramadan, when you're supposed to do it, you might as well just give up. There's no good for you. There's no success for you. What you need to do is, all of us had shortcomings. All of us could have done more in Ramadan. Okay? But, alhamdulillah, the Lord that we worship in Ramadan is the same Lord that we worship in every other single month. And that the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that exists in Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will also be merciful to you after Ramadan. The prayers that you offered in Ramadan are still, inshallah ta'ala, the same prayers you're going to offer after Ramadan. Okay? So whatever happened. Ask Allah Jalla wa Ala to forgive you if you feel you've got shortcomings, like we all should do anyway. And move on. That I'm going now to motivate me to show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I want to do better for Him. Okay? So then, you move on and you fast and you do all the acts of ibadat that you wish to do. And that is how you turn a negative into a positive. And there is absolutely no reason why that you can't become the person that you want to be, achieve the goals that you want to achieve. And that's outside Ramadan. And make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make dua, Ya Allah, allow me to reach another Ramadan and I can worship you in Ramadan. Okay? So this is the kind of mentality that we need, inshallah ta'ala. Wallahu ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much. For that, we're going to go to our next caller now. Assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister on the line. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi, brother. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother.
MashaAllah. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Zakir. I'm calling from London.
MashaAllah, brother. If you don't mind speaking a bit closer into the microphone, I can't hear you very well.
Is that okay now?
That's better, yeah. And your question, brother?
Brother, my question was regarding the sighting of the moon. As we follow Saudi, in the Quran, I heard from one of my friends, he said basically, in the Quran it says to use your common sense regarding the sighting of the moon. And the sighting of the moon, shouldn't it be done from England, or from this country, or if not, the nearest Muslim country to England, which is, I believe, is Morocco? And my only question, why are we following Saudi?
Okay, you get the question, Shaykh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your question, brother. Stay tuned for your answer, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for your question.
Okay, so the brothers mentioned a common issue, and that is with regards to local or international moon sightings. Now, he stated that some brother mentioned using common sense with regards to moon sighting and whatnot. And yeah, a common sense approach. Islam is common sense, inshallah. It doesn't go against our common sense. So therefore, we go to what the Quran and the Sunnah shows and tells us. Okay. And there are different views. Whether it's a local or whether it's an international sighting. There is a view that whenever the moon is sighted in Mecca, you follow that. Because here al-Qura. Because she is the mother of all cities on earth. And as Muslims, we follow the centerpiece of Islam with regards to the Kaaba. So there is a valid view. There are some ulama who take that view, okay? So where are the Sunnah? We understand there are a number of different narrations, the actions of the companions. So that's a legitimate difference of opinion, okay? There's a legitimate difference of opinion, whether you take a local one or whether you take an international one. Now, with regards to an international, why do we follow Saudi? This is not because of allegiance to Saudi Arabia or to the royal family, which unfortunately people have these conceived ideas in their minds. It's not about that. This is Saudi doesn't ask everybody, you must follow us. Not in any way, shape or form, okay? I mean, in fact, many of the ulama, hafidhumullah ta'ala, have said that if your ulama of your countries happen to have local sightings, then follow your own sightings. Some of them are of the view that you have your own sightings. Absolutely fine. But the ulama of this country, a lot of the ulama of this country, have decided to make that decision. And inshallah ta'ala, as the Prophet said, that the fasting, yawmu tusumun. And the day that you fast is the day that most people are fasting, and that's what it happens to be at the moment. If next year everybody hypothetically says, all ulama, we're going to have local sighting, okay, no one's got a problem with that. No one has that. We've got no issue with that. Alhamdulillah, we'll have our own local sighting, and everybody will follow that, inshallah ta'ala. Okay? But this is something that the ulama that they will discuss, inshallah ta'ala. And I hope that if one day everyone can agree on one thing, then this is good. But if it happens to be the case that there is two opinions, this should not lead to a difference of opinion, either in fighting. We may have started on different days, by the way, and we did, by the way, this year, but we may have Eid on the same day. We may have Eid on the same day on Sunday. If they sight the moon tomorrow, inshallah ta'ala, then everybody has Eid on the same day. Okay? So this is a matter that the ulama have discussed, and that there are valid and legitimate approaches on this issue. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us our hearts to remain united, even though at times we do things a little bit different. Fundamentally, we shouldn't, be split. We should be together. And Allah is best.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much for that answer. For everyone watching at home, you're able to give us a call to ask your questions on 0203 515 0769, and I believe we may have enough time for our next caller. So we're going to go to our next brother or sister on the line. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Sister Fatima. I'm calling from London.
Salam, Sister Fatima, and your question?
Yes, I want to inquire, the Eid Salah. Do we pray it out loud like we do for Salatul Fajr and Salatul Maghrib?
Okay. We have 50 seconds. Sheikh, do you want to answer it now or after the break?
Yeah, there's a good time.
Yeah?
There's a good time,
Okay.
yeah. So this is asking about Salatul Eid. Is it said audibly, that you can hear it? And yes, it is. Just like Maghrib, Isha and Fajr, that you recite and you say Salatul Eid out loudly, so that everybody can hear, inshallah ta'ala, and following. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is best.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of this part of our show. We're going to take a short break, brothers and sisters, for a few minutes, and then we'll be back right here with you live again for another 30 minutes up until 7 o'clock to take your questions and get them answered for you, inshallah. So in the meantime, during the break, you're still able to send your questions on WhatsApp or on our social media platforms online. And if you'd like to call us, then once we're back, you'll be able to do that. For now, stay tuned. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everyone watching at home, and welcome back to today's Ask Eman show, where we're going to be here with you, brothers and sisters, for the next 30 minutes live to take your questions and get them answered for you by our Shaykh today, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Welcome back after the break.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
With that, Shaykh, we're going to go to our next caller of the show. So, assalamu alaikum to our caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh. My name is Muhammad, calling from London.
MashaAllah, Brother Muhammad. How are you today?
Yeah, alhamdulillah, I'm well. Are you guys all right?
Alhamdulillah, we're very well. Jazakallah khair. And your question?
Alhamdulillah, yeah. And my question is regarding Eid again. Just regarding congratulating each other. Like I usually at this time when the sighting hasn't been announced, whether positive or negative, I usually get a flurry of texts and emails as well. And generally they're all like congratulating Eid Mubarak, Eid Mubarak. But we're still in the month of Ramadan, and I believe obviously we're not going to be entering Shawwal. So I just want to know, what is the sunnah? Is it befitting, or is it right, permissible, or we shouldn't to congratulate each other with Eid Mubarak on the occasion the Eid hasn't arrived yet?
All right, then. Do you have any other questions, brother?
No, that's it really. Just make the last moments, make most of the last moments, make the after us and keep us strong and firm in our faith, and we'll accept it.
Ameen, ameen. Thank you so much. The Shaykh's going to answer your question now, so you can watch along and listen to your answer on the TV, inshallah.
Okay. It's a good question. And it's important that within the Sharia, we have like, we have guidance and lines are drawn, and we don't want to kind of muddy those lines, as it were. And I think there's two ways of approaching this. So tomorrow evening after Salat al-Maghrib, Saturday evening after Salat al-Maghrib, it's the night of Eid. By all means, send whatever messages, congratulations, Eid Mubarak, reminders, absolutely no problem. But it's quite right to say that, as it stands at the moment, that we're still in Ramadan, and it's good for us to concentrate, because we concentrate sending messages, more messages, Eid Mubarak, as opposed to telling people there's one more night of Ramadan. Establish some qiyam, don't give up, do it right to the end, get the most out of Ramadan, okay? So that can, at times be covered. So what I would say is that those whom you know you can send your Eid Mubarak and your congratulations to, send it after Salat al-Maghrib tomorrow, and it's on the day of Eid, it's on the night of Eid, absolutely no problem. If you happen to meet somebody in passing and you're not going to see them, you may not be able to contact them or whatever, you can say things like, I hope you have a nice Eid, I hope you have a blessed day. So you're kind of sending something in advance. It's not like you're saying to somebody now, Eid Mubarak today, and it's not Eid today. But sending something like that to a person in advance, I hope you have a nice Eid, there's no problem in that. So there's a distinct difference between the two, yes? So wishing somebody to have a happy Eid when it happens, inshallah ta'ala, which is obviously starts tomorrow night, and a person's actually saying today, Eid Mubarak, when it's not Eid. So if it's not Eid yet, there's no need for you to say Eid Mubarak. It's not Eid yet. But like I say, if you're wishing Eid Mubarak to somebody in advance and saying it like that, then it's not a problem, inshallah ta'ala. And then obviously, after Maghrib, the shackles are off in more than one way. You can say Eid Mubarak as you like, inshallah ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much. Shaykh, so I believe, of course, we know now that Eid's not going to be tomorrow. But after Asr or after Maghrib tomorrow, is that when we start
Maghrib,
making the takbirat?
Maghrib, inshallah.
Maghrib time tomorrow.
Inshallah. After Maghrib tomorrow, yes, you start the takbirat, bi'idhnillah.
So is that something that should happen at home after every salah, out loud, the whole family? How does that work exactly?
Yeah,
because we know how it works in the mosque. Because
sure.
we go there, it's
does
it,
and
we follow.
Right. Yeah, it's beautiful. So it's takbir mutlaqa. It's an unrestricted form of takbir. It had to be done after salah. So whenever you find time, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِتُكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهَ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. That this is unrestricted. Just praise and thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frequently and plentifully. And this will only add blessings to your day, to your time, to what you have. So say it lots. And I'm not saying shout and scream, but don't whisper it. There's no need to whisper it. You say it to yourself so people can hear. You encourage the people in the home to say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Just say it like this, thanking and praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is important for us at times when we have times of celebration, reminding ourselves about the blessings of Allah ta'ala, not to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be thankful, to be grateful by ala ma hadakum, that what He guided you to. Okay, this is what the ayah says, to magnify and praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that what He guided you to, so that you can be thankful, so that you can be grateful. Wallahu ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you so much. And now, when it comes to the day of Eid, and we know, for example, Shaykh, the sunnah is that when you go for the salah, the Prophet used to take one route and he used to come through another route.
Yeah.
Now, considering the COVID-19 and everything, what sort of sunnah are we still able to follow during the day of Eid to know that this is how the Prophet and the Sahaba practiced it as well?
Great. So one of them is the takbirat, establishing Salatul Eid upon the position that it is a sunnah and an obligation. But inshallah we'll do it, and those who are going to do it, and those who are not, then of course they have the right to not do that. To have ghusl, to have bath, to wear your best clothes, to wear nice perfume, to present yourself in the best possible way, as though you're going to go to the masjid, but you're going to pray in your home. To give gifts, to congratulate one another, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless one another, saying statements like Eidun Mubarak, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow this to be a blessed Eid. These are open statements that you can make with each other. La haraj fi hada. There's no problem in you doing that, okay? It's not as though you need the people to say, is it in the sunnah for you to say Mubarak or Eidun Sa'id and things like that? Wishing people and congratulating people on Eid is absolutely no problem, inshallah, in these statements, okay? The meanings are fine, the meanings are sound. Eating dates before you pray, an odd number of dates before you pray, this is also from the sunnah. There are certain sunnah that we can't implement, but you have the intention to do so if you were able to do that. So it is right from the sunnah that when you go to the place of Eid, you take one route and then you turn from another. I can't do that. But your intention is, if I was able to do that, and I usually would do that, of course the situation determines that I can't do that, Allah Jalla wa'ala will reward you for what you used to do. And this is the importance, brothers and sisters, of doing things regularly. Okay? The most beloved actions are that what are done frequently and often. And if that becomes part of your routine, and then for whatever reason you become sick, you become ill, something prevents you from doing that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you for that what you used to do. And this is a very, very, very important point for us. That you do things frequently, and don't think that it's all in vain. And there's no, why am I doing these little things? All these little things, Allah Jalla will never forget them. Allah does not forget. And that you'll be rewarded for doing them, and a time may come when you don't do it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will still reward you for that. So this is why it's important for us to implement these sunnah, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much, Shaykh. Our next question, Shaykh, is about, actually we have our caller, so we're going to go to our next question is going to come from our caller, mashallah. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister on the line. Welcome to today's show, Brother Naeem. And where are you calling from? Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me, Brother Naeem? One more time.
Hello? Assalamu alaikum. Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Hello?
Inshallah. How are you today?
Okay, I'm good, thank you. I wanted to ask about Eid Salah and the specifics of, I know there's extra takbirs, but when exactly do we do those extra takbirs?
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Brother Naeem. May Allah reward you.
So, if the brother's talking about the salah, the prayer itself, then you begin the salah with Allahu Akbar. And then after that you will say 6 more. So it's like you take a breath, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. That kind of timing between. I'm not saying that you need to take a breath. I'm just saying in terms of timings. So it's not said like Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. It's not said in that manner. It's said as Allahu Akbar. And then like a small tiny pause between each takbir. And you say 7 in the first, and then 5 in the second. Now, common question is also, do you say anything between the takbirat? So you said Allahu Akbar. Is there any dua, any supplication, anything to say between them? Now, regarding the Sunnah, regarding the Prophet ﷺ, there's nothing that was reported that the Prophet ﷺ would say anything between the takbirat. What we do have is some of the companions of the Messenger ﷺ is that they would say, some of them, like from them Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, that they would praise Allah and send salutations upon the Messenger ﷺ. So something simply they would say, Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. This is the practice of some of the companions. However, the Prophet ﷺ, we don't have anything narrated. Okay? So, if you want to, if you say like, strictly speaking, saying Allahu Akbar would be sufficient. Okay? That would be sufficient for you. Don't say anything. But if somebody wanted to do that based upon the actions of some of the companions, then, you know, there is some precedent for that, from that sense. But what seems more correct, and Allah knows best, is that the Prophet ﷺ would just mention the takbirat and it wouldn't say anything between them. Wallahu ta'ala.
Thank you, Shaykh. We're going to go now to our next question, which is from WhatsApp. And our question is, Assalamu alaikum, what is the ruling on Islamic mortgages where one has a family but not bought a house and living with parents? Also, to what extent can one look to save large amounts of cash for this purpose against the advice for us not to store wealth?
Okay, so saving up and storing wealth, there's no problem in doing that. Okay, saving money is absolutely fine, inshallah. As long as you give haqq, you give rights to your wealth and to your family, meaning haqq to your wealth, or right to your wealth, meaning if zakah is due, you pay your zakah. And you spend on your family of that what is necessary. Other than that, you can save your money, inshallah. Secondly, concerning the circumstances, living with family, with in-laws or whatnot, doesn't change the ruling. I.e. that if you find a riba kind of mortgage, but I'm living with my in-laws, your in-laws is irrelevant. It's a riba loan and it's haram. What I would say is that because it's such a broad topic with regards to mortgages, Islamic loans, different institutions are offering different things. What I would say is that to speak to somebody who is specialized, who has good knowledge in Islamic finance, because the packages are changing from, you know, 1 month to the next, you know, just as mobile phone companies are giving you more minutes and more data, and their kind of offers are changing regularly. Likewise, those institutions offering different packages with regards to quote-unquote Islamic mortgages are constantly changing. So what I would say is, you know, an open question, can I take an Islamic mortgage? It's such a broad question. You know, there are so much different things that may be offered. Maybe a lot of them maybe not allowed. But maybe some institutions do offer something which is allowed. Okay? And I think there are some financial institutions in Manchester who have some form of scheme that allow a permissible way of, you know, taking a loan and repaying it in a halal way with joint ownership and things like that. So what I would say is that if you are interested and want to buy a place, is to go to a person who specializes in Islamic finance, okay, and who's not, when I say Islamic finance, not necessarily one who's employed by that institution, okay, somebody who's has no vested interest in any financial institution, but can give you what the Islamic ruling is on that particular package or on that idea, and take it from there, inshallah. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We're going to go now to our next caller. So, assalamu alaikum to our next caller. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from? Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me? Okay, assalamu alaikum one more time. Welcome to today's Ask Eman show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to yourself and Shaykh Wasim Kempson.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very fine. How are you both, mashallah?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair. And your question?
Alhamdulillah. My question is regarding the Zakatul Fitr, which is preferable to be handed out before the Salatul Eid. Is there any restriction that it has to only go to Muslims, or it can be given to non-Muslims? As if I replace it with food packs and give it to homeless people either today or tomorrow before the Eid day, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the only question, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So with regards to the distribution of zakat al-fitr, there are different views whom you can give it to. The majority of the ulama are of the view that zakat al-fitr can be given to any of the 8 categories of those or the recipients of zakah. There is another view, and bearing in mind that there are no non-Muslims within the 8 categories, except for one which is differed over. There's another view, and many of the muhaqqiqeen, or from them Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, of the view that zakat al-fitr is to be given to the fuqara al-masakin, min al-muslimin, from those who are Muslims, so the poor and destitute. So zakat al-fitr is to be given to these recipients only, and that seems to be in line with the objective of zakat al-fitr. Wallahu ta'ala.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. We're going to go to our next caller now. So, assalamu alaikum to our brother or sister. Welcome to the show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, hello. I've already spoken to you.
MashaAllah.
Okay, I'm on the line.
Oh, I was told you spoke to the studio to get your call through. So now you're live on the actual show. So would you like to share with us your question?
Sorry, am I on the line now?
You're on the line, yes. You can.
Okay, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Sayyid calling from Manchester.
MashaAllah. Welcome to the show, Brother Saeed.
Yes, my question to Shaykh is today is this, that given the situation that we are unable to offer our congregational prayer for this Eid al-Fitr, what is the main ruling, Islamically speaking, although the views differ, how best people can perform such prayer for Eid al-Fitr in their home? What is the overall criteria for this, please? Okay?
Okay. Do you have any other?
Okay, Jazakumullah.
Okay then. Thank you so much, Brother Saeed. May Allah bless.
Right.
Yeah, so with regards to Salatul Eid, inshallah, we said it's allowed for you to establish and pray in your homes. And you offer it in the same way that you would have offered it in the masjid, with the takbirat, or the saying of Allahu Akbar, 7 in the first rak'ah, 5 in the second, if you pray it that way, or 4 and 4 in the first and second rak'ah. There's different ways of praying it, but there's a number of takbirat that are said at the time of the salah. If you recite Surah Al-A'la and Surah Al-Ghashiyah, if you've memorized those. If you haven't memorized those, you can recite another chapter, no problem, inshallah, la haraj. As I mentioned, there are other views that you don't pray it, and that's a legitimate view. But for those who are going to pray it, inshallah ta'ala, that's essentially how you pray it. You can pray after sunrise by about 20 minutes, and you have up until 10-15 minutes before Salatul Dhuhr that you can offer, and it's 2 rak'ah. Allahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Do we have another call on the line? Okay. Our next question, Shaykh, is do you have to do the khutbah for the Eid Salah?
There is no khutbah for the Eid Salah. There is no khutbah that is offered in the Eid Salah. You just offer the 2 rak'ah, and that's it, inshallah ta'ala. The khutbah is offered in the main congregational jami' or outside if there's a big congregation. That is offered. But if you're praying at home, there is no khutbah offered.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Our next question is going to be from WhatsApp, inshallah, once we're back from the break. So we've come to the next part. Oh, okay, I've been told it's the end of our show, mashallah. Okay then, so we're going to end our show here, brothers and sisters. We've come to the end of our show. It's been a great show, mashallah. Thank you so much, Shaykh Wasim, for joining us today. May Allah reward you. And thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in, all the families, all the kids. It's always a pleasure to have our viewers call in, and everyone who benefits, we ask Allah to make it beneficial. So we'll be back at the same time, inshallah, soon. For now, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How come we finished early today?